Hello, Mariska. Oh, I'm so excited to see you today. Well, Olin, you've got a lot on your plate. How are your projects going?
It is going well. I'll be sending you a PowerPoint probably later today or early tomorrow to bring you up to speed as to where I am and get your advice as to how we should navigate going forward.
All right.
But,
Olin
but
is working on his legacy project. Is it okay if I share a little bit?
absolutely, absolutely.
All right. So he's got two physician daughters, whom he is going to bring in. And he's got a bigger vision than just helping doctors get more dollars in their retirement account. I mean, he is really interested in helping them thrive. I love projects like this. I'm so excited. And by the way, I really do hope that your daughters go in and sign up for Peter Kim's free offer.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to share that with them and recommend it. Or at least let me be an imposter and sign up so I can see myself as well.
That is going to be that's going to be hard because when you, as with
I
so many
know.
other things, when you go to apply, they ask you to verify that you're a doctor.
Exactly,
So,
exactly,
so
exactly.
that
That's all
is,
right. We'll figure it
Can't
out.
be like us and just be sitting with one of your daughters.
yeah. All you have to do is find out what their Doximity ID is, and there you go. You can sign right up.
That's right. That's right. I hold their hand.
Exactly. Well, Larry and Mariska, how are things with you guys?
Good, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. That always perks my ears up. What's going on?
Well, we're also kind of working on a larger play and creating an ecosystem. And one of the things that we're doing, just because of how the market has shifted in the last couple of years, we're really focusing hard on showing landlords how they can make more money by creating notes and offering seller finance. And then in the process, we're helping agents understand that and everything. But we're also thinking, okay, this is going to as well provide inventory for doctors who want to have good, notes and passive income that they can acquire. Anyway, we had a really interesting meeting yesterday with a woman that we met at the Rental Housing Association, who is an agent, but also the former mayor of Spokane and a former news anchor for Creme TV. So,
And she's got 17,000
17,000
followers on her Facebook.
and she's very interested in what we're doing. So I think she could be a good power partner.
That is great. Do you want to tell the group what it is that you do?
Sure. We're aligned with real estate, but we're really on the finance end of it. But we're not a bank. And so what we do is we've always bought and sold mostly private mortgage notes, where if somebody has a house and they sell it with seller financing and they carry back a note and now they're the beneficiary of a note. But sometimes we also buy notes that maybe a bank might have originated, and then they decide to, for various reasons, they decide to sell it off. And then we buy those notes for cash flow. And we offer them to other people who would like a stream of income that is secured by real estate. But like I said, the market has changed in recent years, and there's always, while many people might, get all a flutter about what might be happening and oh my goodness, the sky is falling. We think that there's incredible opportunity right now. So we're pretty excited about it.
Well, the reason that I'm so excited that you are here is doctors love real estate.
Yes.
Especially after their incomes fell during the pandemic, they understood that diversification of income is important.
Yeah.
And so this, when doctors think about side gigs, about additional revenue streams, real estate is what they're thinking about. But, then how are they going to get the time to manage real estate? So you just offer such a great solution for doctors.
And right now, there's the dream, especially with single family, is it's tough because expenses have gone up about 50% in the last couple of years, but rents have only gone up about 20%. So they're getting squeezed. And
Uh-huh.
additionally, a lot of states, Washington in particular, just passed some draconian landlord tenant laws that they believe, somehow they imagine that these will actually help tenants when actually ultimately it will hurt tenants, some of the laws that they've passed, but it's definitely hurting a lot of landlords. And so I think if they can create notes and offer, financing to people who, by the way, have also been left behind by the banking industry, because credit availability is also squeezed. And so a lot of people cannot get bank financing, even though they would be good borrowers. So,
And all that being said, too, one thing that we're always looking forward to is working with power partners as far as like
Yeah.
teams that, I mean, one of our goals is always to help people save money on, say, capital gains or taxes or something
Yes.
like that. And so if we can do something like that where we can partner with other folks that have other avenues that they can invest their money in as well too, that's one thing we're looking at as well too.
Awesome. Well, hello, Terry, and hello, Lauren. So I just wanted to mention um, uh, I guess it was sort of a webinar training that I attended this morning in this physician group that I was just mentioning. And it was by somebody who helps people connect with their ideal clients, like identify who they are and connect with them. And he recommended 3 questions. So take your, best client out to lunch or get them on the phone and ask these 3 questions. Why is it that you're working with me rather than somebody else in the industry? And you have a sense of what your value is, but your ideal client might have a very different sense. So he was giving the example of somebody who did this, and the person said, "You are really responsive. Like other people, it takes a while to get a call back, but you are right there." So what that meant is that now he and his team knew how to invest in something that was already working to
right.
do it better. Okay, so that's question number 1. Question number 2, we want to ask, okay, well, what could we do better? But because people are really polite, they're not
Yes.
really going to answer that. So the next question is, what is it about my industry that gets you upset? So you can hear about
Not
that. And
personal.
again, that's more data about how you can work with more of those ideal people. Brilliant, I thought. Third question is, who are the other people in your life that you depend on? And if they say, well, why is that important to you? You can say, well, it's because I would love to reach out to those people and see if we can figure out how to collaborate in ways that will serve you even better. So, in other words, they're asking the client to identify the power partners.
Yeah. Who are your trusted advisors? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So, Larry and Mariska, I think that you could be great power partners for all of the financial advisors who are here, which is one of the reasons I'm so delighted that you are here.
I'd like to share a personal story with everyone here. It basically, as Dr. Vicki knows and my wife knows, we were let's say students with Dr. Vicki a few years back, and Mariska got diagnosed with cancer, and we were ready to re-up for another year with Dr. Vicki, and we said, well, geez, it looks like we've got to change our lifestyle. We really can't really be in a position to be doing this for the next year, but Dr. Vicki was such a mentor and a lead for us, and basically a friend for us through that hard time for both Mariska and I, and that's one thing I'm always grateful for. And gosh, Dr. Vicki, I refer to you all the time as far as like, well, we had this mentor. She's brilliant, and she's just, really helped us with a lot of things. And for that, I say, again, as always, thank you.
It's my pleasure and my honor, truly.
Mhm.
Truly. I care about you guys. I think about you. I want you to be really successful, and it's an honor for me that you're investing your precious moments and your precious attention in this community. I want to make sure that you really do find value here. And the
Always.
other thing is that this is a team sport, right?
Oh, yeah.
Helping doctors get to where they want to go requires lots of different kinds of activities. And so I think we all want to be thinking about who's on our dream team. How can I be more strategic about building my dream team so that I can help doctors get the results that they want? Because you are more likely to be talked about in the doctor's dining room, in the surgeon's lounge, if you're really helping doctors get what it is that they want. All right. So, Larry, I am so glad that you are here. Larry and I have conversations about his LinkedIn activities. So, Larry, would you like to have that conversation now?
Yes, well, it's the best roller coaster ride anybody can envision. Right. You have to stay with it. Like Mark Cuban said, you only have to be right once. And then you're off to the races. Your first million is always the hardest. These kind of things, right? So, as I emailed you yesterday, I been softly messaging a neurosurgeon since January. And I tried to connect with him back then, and he ignored me. Thousands have done that already. Just one more ignored request. So what do? Quit? No, you keep on going. So what do I do now? When someone on LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn Premium, ignores your connection message, you just go next, next, next. But you have to keep your eyes open for your news feeds. And these doctors post something or put a video up there, what's going on in their life. Then you have to reply to that very intelligently, not salesy. So they kind of remember you. And then you have to do that over a period of time. Like you said, 7 to 8 times, they might ignore you. You keep on going with many doctors like that. So just the other day, this doctor, a neurosurgeon in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, he posted a 2 minute, very emotional video, face forward to the camera, where he was up close and personal, excuse me, giving a monologue of what it's like to be a doctor specializing in head and spine trauma. And it was so captivating on my end because I know people who are, crippled for life. I'm in my 70s. And so I've had my own fair share. And doctors have saved my life in the past. And I got coached on that by Dr. Vicki. Thank you. So you have to feel that empathy and that same emotional feel. And so I replied back intelligently, one sentence, and I knew he liked it. But then what he did was within minutes, he went on my profile to reiterate who I am because he liked my comment and he know I tried before. And so then I noticed he gave me a connection invite. So I hit connect and bingo, we connected. After January to now June, we connected. After back and forth roller coaster ride, a little bit of even trying to connect. So now what happened? This neurosurgeon found out just yesterday, yeah, that I have now 22 first LinkedIn connections on his list of first connections. So like 22 acquaintances somewhat. So now I'm treading on thin ice on what's my next move with this doctor. Because unlike the real estate people, which is a great thing to be in, with its ups and downs, roller coaster ride likewise, I'm always what these doctors who are successful and making seven figures plus today and saving money, they need help, like Dr. Vicki Rackner says. They need help. And they start looking at alternatives, cash balance plans, real estate, and whatever. And whatever. And they don't know what to do. And there's so much fraud and scams. And who do you trust? It's a wicked ride today. But now finally I'm moving forward. I've gained some trust because I have let him know about my serving doctor's story. And I spelled it out. Sent him a video, 11-minute video, very educational on tax-free retirement income. So my main focus with doctors is actually it's kind of narrow, not narrowly focused, but is when they do their tax returns in retirement, they're going to get slaughtered if they didn't pay attention to having non-reportable income. That's going to be the key point. Non-reportable income for the rest of your life. And that's what's going to save them because these big seven-figure 401k plans, qualified money, are going to be taxed at the highest tax rate. That could be 40 to 50%. And plus, there are other things, real estate investments, they're going to be piled on top. They're going to get annihilated in taxes during retirement. And now, online in my life, there's a lot of education on just that very focused area. Taxes in retirement, quote unquote. So my next move is what I'm concerned about.
Okay. So, Larry, I want to congratulate you for your dedication. You are somebody who just keeps on going, and many congratulations on this level of success. So, I do not hold myself out as a LinkedIn expert. The person that I most listen to is Kevin Knevel. And you can connect with him on LinkedIn. I found him through Simon Singer. Brilliant guy. But here is his idea. It is that LinkedIn is kind of like a big cocktail party, and people connect with people. And this is just an ideal opportunity to connect with people. So, Larry and I, we've been going through the steps together, and you said something that I really, really wanted to underscore. That's that you follow him, and you see what he's posting, and then you comment on something that they have already posted. If you don't do anything else on LinkedIn, this is a brilliant move because, if you are taking the time and attention to post on something that they are interested, that's saying, hey, doctor, I am interested in you. I am interested in what you have to say. And even if you just like it or heart it or whatever, that's one thing. But if you put some serious thought into, wow, that's a really interesting point. I'd never considered that before. I know people who have spinal cord issues, and thank you for making a difference. That is probably the single most effective way to inspire somebody to make a connection. You express an interest in them, they're going to reciprocate and express an interest in you. So brilliant, Larry. I would recommend that you spend more time doing that. Okay, so those who have sort of a selling mindset are going into LinkedIn, they're making the connection. Doctor, let me tell you how to save money on taxes. When somebody does that to me, the very first thing I do is go in and remove the connection. I do not want somebody just armed with a sales pitch, right? And I think a lot of people on LinkedIn, not just doctors, but they feel the same way. I'm not interested in a transaction. What I want to know is, do you care about me? Well, here's the evidence that you care. You commented on my post. But I I don't know about the wisdom of sending an unsolicited 11-minute video, Larry. That is the kind of thing that could scare people off. So here is the recommended next step. It is just to send a quick note to a doctor expressing gratitude. Thank you for all you do. I work with doctors. I know how challenging it is. So express gratitude and then just ask the simple question, how are things going for you? How are you doing in your COVID recovery? What are the biggest challenges that you face? 60% of doctors are burned out. How about you? So instead of talking about you, again, be gracious and talk about them. Because, first of all, oftentimes they're going to answer that question. I remember speaking with one of my clients, and he said, I feel like I'm pounding my head against the wall. I keep on giving and giving, and I can't get doctors to pay attention to me. Well, by asking them a question, what's it like to be you? That is the single best way to get them to engage with you. So, put put the sales pitch on the side and find out what's important to them and start nurturing in that way. Like in his video, what were some of the big messages? He was talking about the challenges in being a doctor, right?
Well, you have his name, and you just go to his LinkedIn page, and he'll probably have that. It's the day in the life of a neurosurgeon who responds every day to spine and head injuries as a neurosurgeon, and what he has to tell family members and give them the truth and the outcomes. And he's known as a crystal ball, and we're human, and it's that kind of a. I can't tell you exactly what he said, but it's 2 minutes long. But it
So if
was
it were me, I might be curious about the question, where does your resilience come from? How do you do these hard things every day, all day long? And then he might give you a tip. And then I'm just playing this out, right? I don't know what he would say.
right.
But imagine if he said, okay, this is what I do. I have a system. And you could say, that is so interesting, doctor, because in my work, I'm not a doctor, but I've got a system too. What I know will undermine retirement is taxes. And I've got a system for that. So, not even, can we talk about your taxes? But just by putting that out there, now you're building another foundation of trust, right? That gives
That
him the opportunity to say, you do? Can we talk? Taxes really hurt. They're a source of pain for me. Can we talk? So you just want to be sort of offering that next step and just kind of be a little patient. I think that what you're doing is so much like dating. There are certain things that you do on certain dates that don't scare people away. And I think just having patience, understanding that this is a numbers game, understanding, you met him months and months ago, a year ago. It might take another year for him to say, Larry, can we speak about my taxes? Just be patient. I wouldn't worry about converting any one prospect into a client. Just go out there consistently, offer a helping hand, be curious. And my experience is that's the best way to move forward. That's probably not what you wanted to hear, though, right?
No, it is. That's fine. I like that system. I got a system. Kind of, it's planting seeds. We got to be farmers, right?
Yes, yes. But what you want to do is you want to hear from him and then create a Me Too moment. You know, I agree with that. That is totally what I do for my clients.
Point is, some doctors are on their LinkedIn page. They're on social media, and they spend a good amount of time per day on that. So that's their outside world. So for most doctors, that's not the case. So it's a big numbers game in that case, and they ignore. And so, I mean, some doctors they never respond. If they don't, 3 weeks later, that they let me connect with him, and they don't even know who they're connecting with. So it's not smart per se in doing business, but they're not business people. So it's next.
Yeah.
But this one on profiling is and he's qualified to do what I know what's good. If he wants to go buy a bunch of rental properties, that's maybe good too. But as Marishka is, oh boy, that's nice. And Larry, hey Larry, um, real estate has this roller coaster ride too right now, right?
Yeah.
Florida too, with the hurricanes, right?
Yeah. So, Larry, the other thing that is a really high value use of your time on LinkedIn is go and see what groups he's a part of. And chances are pretty good that you can join that group. Again, you can do the same kind of thing. You can make comments on other people's posts, and especially like if they're talking about taxes. Um, I guess what I'm saying is that never underestimate the power of saying thank you and just recognizing other people's pain. I know I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. I once called the president of the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization. A friend of my son's was dying, and like the hospice nurses just did the most incredible things. And I was just so grateful that, I called the president. Hey, who is this? Why are you calling? I'm calling to deliver a compliment. Man, you get right through. I'm calling to deliver a compliment. I'm calling to express gratitude. Any gatekeeper is going to let you through with that. I'm just curious, does anyone else have experience reaching out to doctors on LinkedIn? And what's your experience, Mariska?
Am I unmuted?
You
Oh,
are.
okay. Yeah, I was just going to say, my experience is exactly what you were saying. Take it slow. In fact, what I was going to share was one of our mentors had told us many times in over the years, slow it down, because there's a tendency when you can see around the corners and you know what they're going to say, you want to answer all their questions and you want to do it in one big dump so that you can just get it all out of the way. And he said, intentionally slow it down, answer one question at a time, ask one question at a time. And that's how you actually build a relationship, which absolutely, I believe correlates with what Dr. Vicki just shared of, just trickling on them and creating that relationship over time. Because even though you might have all the answers, they're not ready to hear them all.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Anyone else use LinkedIn? Lauren, do you use LinkedIn?
I'm actually just starting up again. I thought, it might be kind of fun. When I was in college, my three best friends in college were all pre-vet students, and two of them went on to vet school and became veterinarians in Texas. And we were all really close friends. I thought, that would be a fun niche to work with because we all went to the same college, and Texas A&M is the largest veterinary school in the country. And I would thinking that maybe that might be a good niche to go after. So I put together a series of messages to start reaching out and seeing if we can get a foothold there.
That is wonderful. I love that. And, LinkedIn has so many resources. So there may be a LinkedIn group for the alum of this veterinary college. I love vets. They just do wonderful, wonderful things. And, you've got a natural connection just reaching out and saying, hey, it's been a long time. How are you doing? What's your life like these days? So it's a great way of getting that connection. And then once you've got those connections, you can talk with other people about expanding that. So who's helping you with this, Lauren?
Well, I had taken Kevin's course years ago.
Yeah.
And probably I just kind of need to dust it off and reach back out. He actually sent me a postcard pretty recently from Colorado, just fun connection. And I thought I should reach back out to Kevin. What a cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
you
was really
recommend
great.
his course?
Yeah, it was excellent. I got so much out of it.
Yeah. 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 All right. And how are your campaigns going, Lauren?
I probably should circle back around with you and see if
Okay.
we can't, do some strategizing. I had some ideas that I wanted to bounce off you and get your thoughts on it.
All righty. It would be my pleasure.
Thank
It
you.
would be my pleasure. Well, Terry, welcome. You're muted.
Yeah, I had to find the microphone so I could turn it on.
Got it. Got it. Hey, I've got great news.
What's
Lisa sent,
that?
Lisa sent me your stuff, but it was wrong. I had to send it back to her.
I'm sorry?
The production team for your book, they sent me your stuff, but there were things that she didn't include, so I sent it back to her. But anyway, you're in the funnel here. So
Okay. I didn't know
congratulations.
if that was good news or bad news.
No, that's good news. It's good news that she put her attention to your book. Um, but
Oh, I need to say one thing before I forget.
yes,
Hey, Olin, how you doing, buddy? You're easy.
I am
Doing
doing wonderful. I am sitting here. I have three dogs that like to watch all my video conference. So when they get beside themselves, I have to mute.
it. So yeah, I had to say hi to Olin. I hadn't talked to him since last week.
of course. How did you two meet?
Stan Miller Olin was looking for someone, didn't know who it was, just knew what he was looking for. And Stan Miller sent him to Seth Green, and Seth Green sent him to me.
And a great move, great move.
I don't know how it took, 50 some years for us to meet because we ran in the same circles.
That's right. That is right. Well, everything at the right time. That's what I believe in life.
God's timing is always perfect.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. So I'm sorry, Dr. Vicki.
It's all important, right? Right. But I just have so much respect for both of you for your ability to build teams. I mean, it really is extraordinary what both of you have done. Many congratulations.
In this day and
Thank you.
age, it's all about collaboration.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Terry, do you have any good news to share with us? Any success stories?
Yeah, well, finally, it looks like all of my email campaigns start next week to about 4,000 doctors and dentists in Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan.
Wow.
They're going to get the 12-week sequence to send them to my landing page to request the book. And then we're also, but we're going to do one of two things. We're going to do 12 weeks of that and then 12 weeks of sending them an audio chapter, or we're going to intertwine them and go every other one. So one week they get an email to take them to the landing page. The next week they get an audio chapter. The third week they get an email to go to the landing page. So we're trying to figure out what's going to be the best sequence.
Got it. Now, Terry, do you make videos?
No, I haven't for a while, but I've done a lot of podcasts, so I don't know why I'm not doing a lot of videos.
Okay, well, here's just an idea for you. You're welcome to do with it what you want.
I just wrote on my pad in red letters, videos, videos, videos.
Okay. Oh, so you were already thinking about it. Okay. So what if you went through each of these mistakes and just told a story? Doctor, does this sound familiar to you? You know, you're looking at, the check that you just sent the IRS and wondering, my God, is there a better way? Well, let me tell you, from my experience of working with doctors, this is one of the biggest mistakes that doctors make. They're overpaying their taxes. And by the way, there's a recording so you can go back and do it. So, in other words, there could be a format where you just take, one of the 9 mistakes, tell a story about it from your own real life experience, and then say, Doctor, here are some ideas for you to avoid this same mistake. Here are some questions that you might want to ask yourself. And then you could potentially even create, and I'm just saying this to you because I know how creative you are, right? You could potentially create some kind of worksheet that they could download. So the call to action at the end is, go here, sign up to get a list of questions.
Are you recording this?
Yes, it's recorded.
Can you send me the recording?
Yes, I can. I can also show you where it is. But yes, I'd be happy to. But anyway, you're so well spoken. I think that this would be a really good fit for you. You're also a really good storyteller, and this is what hooks doctors. So, you could
I think
potentially,
that's an incredible idea. So I am going to do it, but I have to figure out how I'm going to get that in with the emails to the landing page, the emails with the audio chapters. Now I've got emails with the video.
okay. One of the things that you can potentially do with the email, and check, is Seth helping you with this email campaign?
Yes.
Okay, so you might want to ask Seth about this. But what you could potentially do is ask something like, what questions do you have about this topic? What is it that you wish somebody were talking about? Because if you can find out what their questions are, that gives you the opportunity of creating videos. And then it's a really easy thing. One of the number one questions I get from doctors is blah. Doctor, if you've got this question too, you want to listen because I'm going to talk about this. So this could potentially be on a YouTube channel that would help you establish thought leadership. So you could invite people to subscribe, people who are on your list to subscribe. And then it's a way of inviting more people in.
Well, that's a heck of an idea. They're going to love that. It's going to be so different. And I was looking for a 30-year plan to begin with, because I just turned 68. And so I don't want to have to work to 100.
Happy birthday.
Oh, that was a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But thank you. So yeah, thank you. That'll help my 30-year plan.
Okay.
That's just a joke, by the way. You understand that, right?
Of course. Of course. And by the way, these videos are something that anyone can do. I just want to say hello to George. Welcome.
Hi.
Well, George, what's the good news in your life? What kinds of successes have you had since we've spoken a couple of weeks ago?
Okay. I took a bit of, well, getting over a cold, took a bit of a break last week to attend my 50th high school reunion in New Jersey, which was a blast. It was a private school, Lawrenceville School, and reconnected with a lot of people. I gave cards out mostly to reach me, not for looking for clients. Although there are a few doctors among the group, and one of them did want to talk to me afterwards. It turns out they're using a cash balance plan, but he's all worried about taxes and retirement with all the tax deferred income. So who knows? But what I've been doing is I had sent out I think it was about 65 letters to local doctors, dentists, which basically very much used the format you gave me as opposed to my more academic letter. Yours was, are do you feel you're paying too much on taxes, etc. But it was more of a teaser letter. See if they're interested. I attached an article from the Wall Street Journal on cash balance plans that appeared in March, which was opportune, and a one pager on it. Of course, got no responses. I have my assistant now making calls with the goal of trying to set up a 10 to 15-minute phone call with me, basically to qualify if their firm, if it makes sense for them to do a cash balance plan. It's not easy getting through. I did one, I had to work through the gatekeepers a bit, and then the answer I finally got was we have a financial advisor we're all taken care of. Now, it doesn't mean they have a cash balance plan. It could mean they have 401ks. And as I'm trying to figure how to follow up with that, but similar to what one of the other participants just said, I'm trying to get started on doing kind of a drip email campaign where basically send something once a month, at most twice a month, and trying to leverage the Ed Slot program. They have what they call their outflow there, and there's a lot of content. Part of it is figuring out, I mean, each month they tell you topics and articles and stuff. But I need to sit down and give some thought to it and plan a strategy of a drip campaign to get this into people's hands. I'm also going to start trying to do short form videos. I might do some on an individual email, but a regular like 60 to 97 I'm sorry, 60 to 90 second YouTube what they call short form video is something I would like to do to replace the newsletter that I wrote for 11 years. Actually, it wasn't a newsletter, it was an article for the local paper, which I then sent out to over 400 people. Newspaper shrank to the point they couldn't fit my simple 1,000-word article, which has happened with most local newspapers. So I want to look for another alternative. But part of the key is not just the first letter you send out, but the drip approach. Send them something, hope they don't click, block or whatever. But I'm trying to get, make the initial contact, see if we can find a few people out there at least willing to talk to me. And I'm not expecting many to, because gatekeepers, office managers of practices can be very effective, and it's tough working around or through them, but we're working on it. So it's a process. It's, sometimes you get the lucky hit. Haven't had that yet, but I'm trying to be systematic about it, because I've had some conversations with a selling coach before, and he shows me the numbers that his guy does, and he has somebody who's just making calls, and the stats on actually setting up a phone appointment are very low, but that's what you expect, which is why it's a numbers game. So just need to increase the numbers and then increase the content. Again, make it regular, systematic. I don't quite have the money to spend with HubSpot or somebody like that. So in the meantime, keep it to the smaller lists. I think the content from Ed Slot is excellent. It's just a matter of picking it out, formatting it, and sending it. And doing it on a regular basis. I'm starting to try to also outsource pieces of what I do to others, since only so many hours in the day. I've got an existing client base to take care of. And I want to be available for, when we make the connections, of actually being available to talk to people, meet with people, etc. But so part of the key is developing the system and getting someone else to do it for you. So it's a process. There's a lot, there's lots of pieces to it, but I'm fairly committed to this marketplace. Private equity has had a huge impact. I've talked to a few of my classmates who said, yeah, they bought us out, then I retired. It's not a pleasant prospect for people that are still within those operations, but using that as an angle, as you recommended, using some of the content you provide, using the tax content. I've got I think I know what I need to do. The thing is, put aside the time and actually do it. So, yeah, again, last week was kind of a lost week for me because I went and visited family in New Jersey and attended the reunion, came back a day late, got sick. So I'm now getting back into my full day routine, but it's a process. It's making sure that, once a month you send things out, you keep building the list, you keep making the contacts, and stick to it. And then lather, rinse, repeat. What can I say?
Are you open to a couple of ideas, George?
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Are you open to a few ideas?
Oh, I'm always open to ideas. That's why I keep my pad here. Please
Okay.
shoot.
All right. So what you want to figure out is where are the fishing holes for doctors in private practice? And um, and wouldn't it be great if you could get in front of those doctors and just let them know that there's this powerful tool that could potentially immunize them from being purchased by private equity. Now, I know that I had already mentioned the IPOs, the Independent Physician Organization. So, this is a legal structure that doctors in private practice join to create an entity that can negotiate with insurance companies to get higher compensation. Oftentimes, they'll make joint purchases from vendors to get lower costs. Okay, so this organization is all about putting more money in doctors' pockets. Now, um, this, you don't always know what's going on. I can tell you that the orthopedic surgeons in Seattle have a very strong IPO. So if you can find them, what you do completely aligns with them. You can ask them, hey, would you be interested in a webinar about how to let Uncle Sam fund your retirement, put more money in your pocket? And just talk about this cash balance plan. Start out, doctor, did you know that taxes are your biggest lifetime expense? What if I told you that there's a way of legally and ethically letting, Uncle Sam money that you would otherwise spend in taxes and do this thing? So,
Yep.
and that there could be some really, really creative ways of getting in front of these groups. So let me give you another example. There is a company, Invisalign. They sell invisible braces.
Yep.
Okay. So you know that you can go on their site and
Yep.
find out in your area who the, seven-figure orthodontists are. So first of all, that's a good list.
Is that a given? I mean, orthodontists typically make pretty good money like that.
Well, what they do is they assign each doctor a star based on the volume of Invisalign that they're selling.
Right.
So, you can identify like the black star orthodontist. And the
Right.
thing is, orthodontists tend to be in private practice, right?
Pretty much.
Okay,
That's what I've also found dentists tend to be much more likely private than a doctor.
exactly, exactly. But okay, who's going to want what you have? It is the very high earning doctor in private practice, right? Okay.
Yes.
So, but here's where it gets better. Invisalign as an organization has made a commitment to the success of their doctor clients. Like in some areas of the country, they'll offer marketing kinds of courses. So I don't know about the person in your area, but I could see them inviting you to come in and give a talk about cash balance plans.
So find the marketing rep who's responsible for the Northeast or Massachusetts or whatever the region is and say, I have something that could help your clients.
Right. I probably would start out with the question, what are your goals? What are your metrics for success? Well, I'm here to help more doctors achieve that black star level. and then say, hey, would you be interested in delivering some content that completely aligns with you, who you are, and what your ideas for success are?
Got it. Okay.
So, like, find out what those fishing holes are and, like, where could you leverage your time? Because, once you're on a platform somewhere, you're giving the presentation. That gives you gravitas, that gives you authority, right?
Right.
So, I would recommend that you take a slice of your attention pie and ask yourself that question. Where can I speak? Where can I get that message out there?
You mentioned these IPOs, which my first thought was initial public offering, but no, I get it. There's my physician, my primary care physician is part of, I think it's the Mount Auburn. There's a huge group of them, and I have a partially completed letter to him asking him for an entree into there, because I'd like to talk to somebody and just have not a sales pitch to the person at that's, I'm sure they have an executive director equivalent of what could I do to provide a service to help your members. So that's my next step, and I probably should finish the damn letter and send it rather than just have it sit there on my screen every day and say, "Oh yeah, I got to finish this one," after my client letter. But it's yeah, it's these different places and finding the ones, the sweet spots, and the thing is, what I've seen with Jim when excuse me, um, sorry, I keep getting these calls. I have to say I'll call you back. But like with Jim, it's like once you get your foot in the door with somebody and you're credible, it's an amazing entree. Like you've broken through, and if they're credible, that's the it's that first crack you need to make it through
Right.
and get the clients and get the people who say, yeah, he's done a great job for me. I mean, initially I, need to get through and have people just say, he knows what he's talking about. And he sounds very knowledgeable and he understands taxes. So yeah, I think the fishing holes is a good approach. I mean, I've still got my assistant helping me with the one-off. I still want to send the letters and then follow with emails, on a regular basis for, useful content. But yeah, the fishing holes are the best place because you're right, you're up there, you've been invited. I found years ago when I was, when I gave talks, the only way after a while I would do it was if it was a group where they were responsible for getting the audience together. I did a couple where I tried to get an audience. It was really difficult. If it's an organization, etc., you've got the audience, the interest. So anyway, those are great ideas. And yes, I will get my fishing creel and rod out and start looking.
Okay. And I just want to give you permission to use me as bait. Okay. You can like mention me. Hey, look, I'm
Okay.
working with Dr. Vicki Rackner. She has a commitment to helping physicians thrive. I've got a unique way of helping doctors thrive. And like when you reach out to organizations, when you reach out to your colleague, please feel welcome to use me.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you. Okay.
And, if you want to kick that one up a level, I am completely open to trying an experiment where the original letter comes from me introducing you.
Good thought. Okay.
Because it could be that your letter doesn't make it past the gatekeeper.
Right. But if it's from another MD, it's got more credibility to it.
It's going to get on the doctor's desk. It's not
Yeah,
just going to get recycled.
Yeah, my letters have, I print out their Coromandel wealth strategies, and some may just automatically toss it because it's yet another financial guy trying to get our money. But no, it's a good point. So I will consider that and try to think through a good approach. I mean, it's kind of like an A/B test. Try some and see how they work.
Exactly.
So I will, before I send it, I'll run it by you to make sure you approve and we'll see how it works, but that's a good idea.
Okay, so I am sort of the face of a national outsourced billing organization called ABS. And I originally came up with this letter idea for them. And what they tell me is that it works really well. Like, this is a really good way of breaking through.
Hmm. Sounds good. No, it does, it gets past that first, oh God, another financial guy. So yeah, it's a good, or another wealth guy. So, okay, I will consider that. I'll give some thoughts to how to frame it, but thank you.
Okay, I wish I could, like, maybe one day I should just like take my phone out when I open up my mail. Every day I get something from a financial advisor, like every day. I might never have to cook another dinner again if I just went to all
Oh,
these dinner
yes.
meetings.
I, I'm very cynical about those. And the thing is, you have to really dig to the fine print at the bottom to find who's actually sponsoring it. But it's, the I'm not a big fan of those kinds of dinners. They're expensive, uh, and the returns aren't necessarily that good. I found targeted webinars to be better, or just targeted meetings where it's not a free meal. It's somebody who wants to be there. Just my experience.
Yeah. All right. Well, does anyone have anything else that they'd like to share from their experience and wisdom for any of these topics that we've spoken about?
I
Never give up.
have a quick question.
Yes.
What do you think about doing the video, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, something like that, on both the landing page email and the audio chapter email?
I am loving it. Anytime you can put a video on a landing page, it does better.
No, no, I'm not on the landing page, on the email that I send out.
Oh, okay. So you want to talk to Seth about that, but the problem is that you can't actually embed the video because that decreases
You, you can
um, delivery,
you can
but you can
embed
leave a
what they
link.
call oh, the snapshot or something. But
Right. Yeah. So you can link it, but then where would you put the video? Like on YouTube?
I've got a meeting with him in the morning, so
Okay. All right. I love that. I totally love that.
That was recommended to me actually as well. Try using short videos as kind of an intro. And yes, you put the photo there and then it links you to the your YouTube page. So good idea.
Yeah. And you know, I don't think there's anything better than video for building relationships. They get to see you, they get to hear you. I think it accelerates trust building.
Hmm.
All right. Well, what are some of your big ahas? What are you going to do differently as a result of being here today?
Pause.
Larry, how about you?
Well, really, I'm on a roll right now, and I don't want to say I mastered LinkedIn, but I've gotten much better at it. I paid my dues, and I went too fast sometimes, but all those days are gone now, and my confidence level is up, and I know what I'm selling, and so and I know the doctors all need this, but the biggest blockage, trust, scams, fraud, and it's so wicked today, the world of criminals online, everywhere on the phone, and seniors getting, their bank accounts whipped out from under them. They're very creative. The hacking, the world just is so corrupt in that level. And there's even in real estate, people's homes have been taken away from them from very creative networks of housing theft.
So, are you passionate about this, Larry?
Absolutely, I'm passionate about
Okay.
it.
Here's an idea for you. How about
Well,
if you create just a little one sheet? How to keep yourself from getting scammed? How doctors can keep themselves from getting scammed. There's a new one that just arrived in my inbox. It is a letter from a lawyer we are about to sue you for infringement of our intellectual property. Click here to find out how you've done it. And like I was freaked out when I saw that because that's one of my fears. But it's just like another scam.
Correct. It's wicked out there. Even smart people are getting duped.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But I could see, hey, here's another scam to avoid. Scam alert, you know? And the way that that might help you, Larry, just as I think off the cuff, is, you know, are they looking at you and thinking this is real or this is a scam? And if you're the guy who helps doctors avoid scams, that supports your positioning.
Yeah, it's I can't even put it in words anymore. Today, no matter how fine-tuned you want to be in life, there's something not you're not doing right. Ask any of the contestants today. Look at the Shark Tank show. That a PhD doctor came out with a fantastic thing, but he didn't prepare properly for that Shark Tank presentation.
There
So
you
like
go.
all that study that he's done, it just was a nothing burger when he got to the Shark Tank. And that's how everyone here online today with us today, making unknowingly making some other mistake.
Oh, um, it looks like Yvonne is here. Yvonne, I am so sorry. I didn't recognize you. You're not there. Hello and welcome. Would you like to unmute yourself and let us know what's new in your life? I'm so sorry.
Oh, well, I'm busy. I have a few clients that are retiring, and it's a medical necessity for retirement. So, I'm really trying to connect with the next generation that's going to inherit that. So I did a graduation thing, kids and grandkids graduating from college and just kind of starting out. It doesn't have anything to do with connecting and really building wealth. It's hey, start a Roth IRA with us. But the thing is, make that connection so that the granddad is giving that to maybe to the dad or maybe to the grandson in order to make that connection so that I can still stay. You want to keep your assets under management, right?
Right,
You don't want them to go away.
right,
So
right.
that was the latest thing that I was doing. I had talked to you about the dental conference that was here in Seattle, and it was interesting because the one person I talked to was like, "Oh yeah, you can have a booth, blah blah blah," and then so I applied for the booth, but then I got an email saying we already have a financial advisor that. So basically, they have an in, and it's a good old boys club, and nobody else is getting in. There's one financial advisor there. That's it.
You know, the dental associations, like the association who might have been a co-sponsor, I- they offer their own financial products and services, and so they generate revenue that way. It's kind of like the AMA has their own insurance branch, the AMA insurance company. So I was actually like really excited about this, and I'm so sorry that that happened to you. Um, but it probably had nothing to do with you, and hopefully you'll still try.
Oh, for sure. There's other conferences. That was actually a really big one. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, hey, if I can get in there, there was still booths available. So I thought, you'll take my money, right? And let me have a booth. Well, it didn't turn out that way, but that's okay. There's other places.
That's true. And the other thing is that you're not just a financial advisor. You wear a whole bunch of different hats, right? Like
Exactly.
even in real estate.
Right, right.
I
So
wouldn't say lie, but it's not a lie to say that you have a special interest in helping doctors with real estate.
that is true.
All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here today. The replay will get put up on the Academy, so you're welcome to go back and sort of hear this again. I hope that you have a great rest of the week, and I'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Next week, next Thursday, is going to be the marketing campaign of the month. I haven't chosen it yet, but it will be like a presentation, not not a live coaching call. All right.
Thank
Take
you, Carol.
good care, and thanks
This
all.
was fantastic,
Dr.
Dr.
Vicki.
Vicki. I feel like I made some new friends today. Look
Yay!
forward to our next gathering. Exciting. Take care,
Terrific.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.